Well, here we are. Here I am. Let's wait a minute to see who's going to come online today. Yeah. Probably about 20 minutes worth of things to talk about today, so I'll wait till a few people get online and we can see if there's anything else we want to talk about. Yep. Well, I still don't have. I still see 0 viewers. No, it just jumped to 6. I wonder how often it updates that. I'm looking at the streamer. There's like a stream manager dashboard thing over there. So if you're just joining me, hello, good morning. How are you doing? Doing okay? Obviously, we're all pretty disappointed about the school year and the fact that we're not going to get to be back together in person at all this year. I mean, I kind of figured that's how things were going to go once they called it 3 weeks. I figured that would not just be 3 weeks, but still disappointing. I'm home now. They've told us to stop coming to campus, or they're strongly discouraging it. They're not going to lock us out yet, but um, I figured I could probably stream from here. And I say probably because I think this is working okay. If it's not, then let me know because I can't tell necessarily. I mean, the stream manager thing says my connection is excellent, but you may experience it differently. I don't know. So let me know if it isn't great. We could have certainly other ways of communicating during this time that will work. So yeah. As far as content to cover today, I don't know. I mean, we're looking at Mike Daisy and his experience with the Apple Factory, so there are certainly some questions that raises. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at that yet or listen to it yet. So if that's something, I mean, do it this week, but you may not have. I realize you may not have gotten to it yet. Just how things are generally. It's hard. And so I have Slack open. I don't have the same overlay as I had yesterday or on Monday because I'm setting this all up on a new computer. But here I am. I am at home. So the computer I was trying to use a computer here. It's a computer I got a few years ago, but I got it set up as a pretty decent gaming computer, and so it's pretty good. It should be pretty well equipped for streaming. The problem is it suffered an electrical damage like a year ago when there was a surge that went through our house and it blew up the surge protector and entered the computer and blew something up there as well. At least it fried the power supply of the computer. So I got a new power supply like 6 months ago, and I just to see if I could get it to work and plugged it in. It didn't work, so I just sort of put it to the side to try to troubleshoot it later. And but then yesterday I was like, yeah, maybe this is a good time to troubleshoot it. So I plugged it in and it works. And it took me a while to get it booted up. The hard drive was corrupted, so I was able to fix that. And then, but I plugged it in today. I moved it over closer to my router so I could plug into the router, and it doesn't work over here, and I don't know why. I mean, I literally just moved it 20 feet, so I will try to move it back to where it worked yesterday and see if I can get it to work there, and then try to troubleshoot it. Probably there is another hardware component in it that's fried, and so I'm basically going to have to do a disassembly type assignment with this. I'm going to have to strip it down to the most minimum thing I can, and then put it back together. You don't have to be so sneaky. Just go by. It's okay. It's fine. You're not bothering me. So that was my daughter. So Anyway, so I'm doing kind of a practical disassembly on this computer, hopefully to get it working. But basically, I'll have to take apart, like get it down to just the motherboard, and then see if it boots at all, and then add each of the memory units and then the GPU, and just kind of build it back up until one part until it fails again, and then that part, the last part I added before it failed, that'll be the one that I need to replace. And then depending on which one that is, I'll decide if it's worthwhile to replace it or just get a whole new, or just recycle the whole thing. Because right now it's not working. I mean, I know the power supply is good because I just bought that. It was like $50 though, so like I would try to resell that probably, or just maybe use that as the beginning of a new build, PC build. But who has time for these things? Well, anyway, so I'm just kind of rambling a bit as people join in. I'm up to 14 viewers, so that's pretty good. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing okay. This is, I keep forgetting. I'm looking at, wait a minute. Why do I have two cameras on? Sorry, I have to figure this out. So I have an external webcam, but I also have, oh, I know why. Hang on. I got to get into my OBS settings here because I think this is still in the scene. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so that should take that out. No, not that way. Other way. There we go. All right, great. So, yeah, like I was saying, I'm at home, and so there may be distractions. I told my kids that I'm working down here, and so they're going to try to keep their distance and be quiet, and I'm sure they'll be great. But you may hear unusual noises, and or see people walk by in the background. That's that's how it goes as we work through these things. So if by the way the connection seems bad, let me know in the chat on Twitch or Slack. I have both of those up. So if you have issues or questions, certainly let me know. Okay, so the main thing I wanted to talk about today actually is this page here. I'm like everyone else, I'm kind of adapting to this situation as we go. So one of the things I'm adapting is the website and the course material in Canvas, and I'm trying to make it as self-explanatory as possible so that you can work your way through it. So okay, great, thanks, Olivia. So right now I've started just as a frequently asked questions page, but what I'm going to be also doing is kind of a step-by-step like checklist. Like here's what you do, here's what you need to do to get done. Just to kind of have a roadmap to get to the end of the semester with what we're doing here. Oh, good. Okay, glad to see it's better than yesterday even. So nice. But first, I just have the frequently asked questions. So these are just kind of general questions, and this I will update a bit as things evolve, maybe, or as I figure some things out. So I wanted to go through this FAQ page and explain what's in here. It's linked on the homepage now, the Canvas site. So if you go here to home, or you log in, there's this Plan B FAQ. That's what this is. I might just make this the homepage for the Canvas course, but for now, here's what it is. This is the just some of the basic stuff at this point. And but like I said, I'm also going to add a step-by-step guide for getting to the end. So first of all, Twitch streams. If you obviously if you're watching this, you have the ability to, and that's great. I understand maybe not everyone does, and that's also fine. So you are not required to attend these Twitch streams. It's not like class attendance where I'm going to check to see who's in the stream. But I do want to check in, or I do want to hear from you frequently, because one of the big challenges with teaching online that I've always had is that I put things out there and I don't necessarily know if anyone's getting it. And on the one hand, I want to make sure that what I'm doing is valuable, that people get it. But also, like in a face-to-face class, if someone's not getting something, or if they stop coming to class, like I notice that. Online, I don't have the same cues that let me notice that. So I'm going to be asking for you to check in frequently to let me know that you're doing okay, that you're following the material, that you're making progress, basically. So that's how all this is kind of structured now, or that's what I'm building it around. Okay, but anyway, the Twitch streams are a good way to check in. So I'm seeing several of you in the chat, and that's good. So that gives me some reassurance that you're able to get here. But like if your only option to get online and to get online well enough to be able to stream is to go somewhere like Starbucks or Panera, probably don't do that because they're telling us to stay away from public places like that right now. So I will certainly not require you to do that for that purpose. I mean, maybe if you have to go for other reasons, or if you want to just sit in the parking lot, I guess that might be good if you want to do that, but I'm not going to require it certainly. Okay, so the other thing about the due dates. So everything, like the semester does still have an end point. Like the semester is my grades, like I have to get all your grades done by May 5th. So I'm asking you to have everything done by May 1st. That's still pretty, that's still going to be kind of tight for me on turning it around, but it gives you as much time as possible to get everything done. So there are still due dates for projects because I think it's important to do them in order, and they also, if you wait to the end, if you wait till April 30th to start this, you're gonna have a bad time. So I do want to keep those due dates in there, but if you miss them, don't worry about it. There may even be a way, I'm not sure, but I think there's a way in Canvas I can have it not flag things as late, even if they are. I'm gonna look into that. I think there's a little Canvas hack you can do. But the point being, I want you to do these things, but don't worry about doing them on time. Just worry about getting them done. So the final grade is going to be kind of like your midterm, your self-evaluation. You will have a lot more material to base it on at that point, and based on the remaining projects, basically. But what I've done is I've made these. I've already built this into this FAQ where these are the learning outcomes for the class. So whenever I designed the class, these are the things that I specified you would be accomplishing in the class. These are, as I'm looking at these are not the best. These are not super well written. I feel like they're trying to do too much conceptually, but I remember what I meant with each of these, and I've kind of interpreted that a little bit. In your final grade evaluation, then you're going to be explaining how you accomplished learning with each of those learning outcomes. And in the FAQ here, I've posed them as questions. So like, how do I develop skills in designing, building, sharing ideas that can be expressed through the uniquely multimodal procedural network capabilities of digital tools? All that's way too long for me to have written it that way, first of all. But what I'm getting at is that you're using digital tools. So you've already been using some, but you're going to keep using more. And that's the point, is to use different things and compare them and understand how they work differently, not just because they're designed by someone else, but because they are oriented towards a different objective sometimes. So that's why for the revised digital archaeology project, I do really want you working with Timeline.js or something similar, StoryMap.js maybe, or TimeMapper.js. There's a lot of these. Most of them are JavaScript based. That's why they end in JS. So I want you to try one of those out, right? I mean, the research is a big part of it, obviously, but telling that story with this software is the other part that's important. So make sure you do that. I mean, that's so in the final self-evaluation, you can say, I learned how to tell a story with Timeline.js. That's how I accomplished that goal. So the next two really are, well, no, this one, exploring processes of knowledge production. That's a kind of a coded word, but using digital technology to research and analyze and execute critical inquiry. Again, an overburdened learning outcome, but the idea is working with computers to ask questions, investigate questions, and explore hypotheses, that kind of thing. And the main way you're going to be experiencing that is the Digital Archaeology Project. And that's not the Digital Archaeology Project. The third module, which is on methodology. So this is going to be something where, yeah, I need to update the timeline, obviously, and a couple other things about it, but the essence of this will remain the same, which is you go to the DGST101.net website and you find one of the modules that's categorized as methodology, and complete it. There's several. Some of these are a bit more kind of instructive than the earlier kinds of modules because these are things you may not know much about at all. And so I can, I can offer advice about each of these, but Basically, find one you like and then go for it. The procedure is the same in the sense that I'd like for you to go into Slack and find the channel for this module and then post some things in there. Ideally, like first of all, talk about why you chose that particular one, um, and then spend some time working on it, and then by the end, explain what you did. So 2 blog entries at least, explaining first of all one initial blog post explaining what you want to do with it, and then after you work for a while, another post explaining what you did. In the normal semester, this would have been a 2 or I think a 3 week module. But take however much time you need, however long or little you need to work through it a bit. Okay, so let's see. All right, so I'm checking in on Slack too. Hi.
I think there's a crackle on the break page. Oh, it's gone.
Oh, okay. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so I did post a couple of questions about Mike Daisey and the Apple Factory, and I'm not sure if I can. I'm not actually sure how the audio will work if I play back parts of that on here. I think I will not do that right now because it might be super loud and weird, and I don't want to blast anyone out. I want to test that out later, I think. But there's a particular moment, like as Olivia points out in Slack, the podcast format breaks it up, makes it more accessible. We have our Glass to kind of take us through it and explain things to us. That helps too. But there's a particular moment in the editing that I find really compelling and uncomfortable, and I think it really makes the story what it is. So
I'm closing the door. Sorry.
My son is upstairs yelling about something. You can probably hear him. He's playing around, but he's very loud. Yeah. Anyway.
They can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, that's how it is working from home sometimes, and that's okay. Yeah, so I mean, looking at Mike Daisey, I think the big question, there's several questions. First of all, like, what is he claiming? Like, he says in his initial story that he goes to these factories and he has these experiences. He meets these people, and he's coming back to tell us. But he's telling us in a particular way, a particularly kind of dramatic way, a theatrical way, and I think that's important to keep in mind, especially because he kind of uses that explanation of genre as his defense later on when it turns out that what he was saying was not true in the journalistic sense. So it kind of gets us back to the questions we were talking about with the web literacy work, where what do we mean by truth? Do we mean something that is always true, or something that's provable, or do we mean something that we can act on that changes our mind about something? And I think that there's lots of ways in which theater, especially, but any fiction, can be true without being literally true. And so that's the question. I mean, that's something that, like, Ira Glass doesn't have much patience for that defense, but I think it is something worth considering. I think we are looking at this because it was compelling, because Mike Daisey had a compelling way of telling his story. We also now need to think about what's really going on and what's actually happening, but that's something that we might not have done otherwise. So I don't know. I mean, I think I can kind of see both sides of the question of does it matter that Mike Daisey lied? I can see both sides having some value, some credibility. So yeah. What else? I think somebody's having a piano lesson upstairs. My kids are. My wife is a piano teacher, and my kids, of course, are learning piano from her. So that's still happening. And they're all home. My kids are all homeschooled, by the way. So they're still. I mean, they're not out of school. They're just having their normal week. Just a little bit different because we weren't able to go as many places as we might have otherwise on another week. Okay, so here are I'll just explain my next steps on these things, and then feel free to jump in with any questions or thoughts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into each of your culture group homepages. There's 10 of you, 11, 11 groups, and I'm going to start a discussion thread in there. And but I'm not going to participate in the discussion. I'm just going to put it there as a place for you to talk to each other. And I'm going to pose a few questions related to each of the readings and things for the rest of the semester. So those will just be places there for you to add to whenever you get to it. Next week, or the things that we'll talk about next week, will be about the recycling process, the way that e-waste becomes uh, goes back into the world, and what happens to it afterwards. We'll look at a couple of films about that. So that's something that will give us another way to talk about kind of what happens and so on. But I'm going to go and I'm going to create those as a place for you to document your thoughts about those things in a bit more of a structured way. And then that maybe may give us some thoughts about in terms of discussion. I am also curious, and this format is okay. Like, I don't mind talking, but I also want to hear from you all. I mean, there's 16 of you online right now. I am wondering about whether a Zoom kind of thing would work better. If you, I am also curious about your experience with Zoom so far in your other classes. So if you have been using Zoom and it's been going okay, or if you've been using Zoom and it's not been going okay, or if you've been trying to use Zoom and it hasn't worked, or whatever your experience is with that or other things, let me know in the chat, because I'd kind of like to think about that option to have a more, conversant experience than what we're normally doing. If we do that, I bet I could probably still stream in that. Like, I could have a Zoom chat that I would then be taking into a stream, but that's sort of a that wouldn't be totally necessary. But that would be a way to archive it, basically, so that if someone couldn't join the Zoom live, they could come in later. So yeah, I don't know. So let me know what you think about Zoom or other things, if that's an option. What else? Oh yeah, so like I said, the things I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be making that discussion thread in each of your Canvas homepages. Then I'm going to go through kind of the rest of the semester as a checklist of things to accomplish. I still think um, there is some value for conversation. So I don't want to make it just a complete thing you do. Okay, a thing that you do completely on your own. Okay, so I'm hearing some thoughts on Zoom. Olivia and Deadpool Myth have not used it. Emily has, and it was okay. Yeah, I take for granted that if there's if it's new, that it'll take us a while to get it, working well, and that's fine. So Mayhack says, okay, hey Marcus, yeah. Canvas conference, is that what is that? I've never used those. So it is a video conferencing thing, isn't it? Okay, so I mean, you can see my screen. Let me just try this. I've never tried this before. I don't know if I want to invite everybody. Also, what is Big Blue Button? I don't know. Let's just try it. I mean, this will just be a test. This will just be like, if it works, then we'll just kind of we'll just confirm that it works and then do something else. But, okay, so weird. Okay, so this is, I'll just do this. I don't know, this might get weird with streaming it. I'm not turning my actual audio on, but I'll just say I did hear it. What in the world? Okay, so I mean, this looks very similar to Zoom. Maybe this will work fine. I don't know. I'm kind of wondering what the pros and cons are. Have any of you? So okay, so Mayak is helping me out. You start the conference. I just did, I think. And so if you see this, I guess join it, and then that'll confirm if this works, and then then maybe we can use this. Yeah, I don't have any audio on, Marcus, so that's if you hear feedback, let me know and I'll kill it. But I don't think I have any audio on. Like I don't have any speakers playing anything. Um, so hello. Okay, so let me see. Maybe I should share the webcam. Hello.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. So okay. Cool. I don't know. Oh right. Okay. So, but it did send you a link, I think. Let me try this. I guess if this does work, we'd have to think about like pros and cons versus how do I do this? Like this versus Zoom. Like what are the pros and cons of these two? Okay. All right. So I just enabled the navigation. Okay. So Courtney got a link. Was that an email, Courtney, or some kind of pop up? Okay. Matthew's typing in Slack too. Okay. All right. Let's see what's happening here. I wonder if there's a limit to how many people can join this, because this is a big class. So if there is a limit, that might be an issue. Ten concurrent conferences. Yeah, we probably are. I mean, as a campus, if that's what it's counting as. Oh, Tess is here. Okay, great. So, and I mean, I guess what's nice about this too is like it's linked to your Canvas identity. So I see your name as I would normally see it. I don't have to try to interpret who's who on that. So that could be an option there, I guess. Okay, cool. So I'll leave this up for a second if anyone else wants to try it out. Um, yeah, and it may have not sent it because I didn't have it enabled, or it may have come through in a different way. Like I don't know. I don't have my email up, so I don't know how that's gonna look to you all. But okay, so all right. Okay, there you go. Great. Oh yeah, you're in here. You're actually in here twice. So I don't know how you did that, but there you are twice. Great. Um, yeah, maybe if you can. What is this? Welcome. I don't want this here. Hide presentation. Oh, okay. There it is. So now I'm here twice. I guess you can see me. I don't know what kind of what kind of lag there's going to be on that. That probably looks pretty weird. Okay, so maybe we can try this later too. I think just like with Zoom, it's just another option. So um, the point being that maybe it helps to get us connected. Yeah, and I imagine it's confusing to me too because I can see I can see I can see it 3 ways right now. So I'm gonna disconnect this at the moment for now because this is. I just wanted to confirm that this works and it does. So I'm gonna say this. It looks like, by the way, I had audio turned off. It looked like Mayek was talking. I couldn't hear you because I had the audio turned off. So that was just a test to confirm that it actually worked. But yeah, we'll see. I might just let's see if I can. I bet what I can do is if we do a chat like with Zoom, then I could at least record it. Like I could either record it in Zoom or I could probably just record it with QuickTime on my computer and then upload that to YouTube later. That might work. Anyway, so Yeah. Okay. So Matt's kind of saying like the kind of back to the question of Mr. Daisy, like the fact that he made up some of the details does kind of suck about his story because then it leads us to question everything else. But it turns out, some things worth questioning and worth thinking about that he brings up, and so digging into that is a good idea. Okay, so this is all. This is yeah. This is good. Uh, Something in my eye. Um, all right. Well, so let me reiterate a couple of things in case you came in late. So, or after I said these things. Rather, first of all, there's this FAQ page now on the homepage for Canvas, and I'm going to be, in addition to this, creating a checklist basically to take you from here to the end of the semester to show you all the things you need to accomplish and the conversations you need to participate in. And we'll keep doing these live sessions. They will either be with Twitch or maybe with Zoom or something else. So just check your announcements for any different instructions about that. I do kind of like Twitch, so I think I might keep it either way, but maybe use it differently. The like one thing, for example, a lot of people use Twitch for gaming. I don't have a lot of gaming skill or ability here, but one thing I know how to do is unlock the Easter egg in the adventure game in the original Atari game Adventure. I've done that, and my YouTube video of that is my most viewed video. So maybe I should do a live stream of me doing that. It takes a little while, so it's something that I could put on Twitch just to have a more Twitch native kind of content on here. But anyway, as far as the class goes, we're yeah, I think like I want to hear from you all. I want to. I mean, I like talking, but I also want to listen to and connect with you all because this is going to get kind of lonely as we are all kind of hunkered down in our various spaces. So yeah, we'll see what we can figure out for Friday. But any streaming connection, anything like that, will be optional but encouraged because I mean, really, my hope is that like this kind of thing can be a way to have a sense of community, even though we're separated and we won't be able to be there in person anymore. So that's something that I would like for you all to have the ability to participate in. But as far as content, I will certainly make sure that that is all archived and summarized elsewhere. So basically, the big thing that you'll hopefully notice in the FAQ stuff is that project due dates are now no longer. They just everything has to be in by May 1st. Work through it at your own pace, but do work through it because this still is a lot of material and a lot of projects. So work through it, but don't worry too much about specific due dates of things. But I will try to yeah, I'll figure things out with Zoom. Do you have any questions or anything else before I wrap things up here? I don't want to go on too long. Um, so yeah, I'm just looking at a couple of things. Yeah, Julie is stressed with deadlines, so hopefully the lack of deadlines here will help you with that in the sense that the deadlines will still exist in Canvas. They'll still show up as due dates, but if you miss them, it's no big deal. Just do it eventually. Um, my main goal now, as far as preparing this content for you all, is to take as much variability out of it as possible and to make it as clear as possible for you to work your way through it. So I'm going to be doing some things along those lines. Also, maybe I'll fix my other computer. It's like it's in. Well, I could show you, but it's you don't care. It's in pieces over here. The game you think is that Crystal Adventure. The game is just called Adventure. It's for the Atari 2600. It came out in 1979 or 80. So it's an older game, and it is the first game where people discovered an Easter egg or a hidden piece of content. There were at least two earlier games that had Easter eggs, but they were not found until many years later. They were actually found like recently. So, but an Easter egg is like a hidden piece of content. So in this case, for the game Adventure, there is a secret room, and if you can access this secret room, then you'll see the name of the programmer, Warren Robinette, and he left it there as his kind of signature to say, "Hey, I programmed this game." So let's see. So Meg is asking, yes, do we have digital archaeology? Yes. Methodology? Yes. Readings? Yeah, but only like focus on the projects. And weekly things? Yes. And then the final self-evaluation? Yes. So yes to all those things. The final self-evaluation um, is still like the actual the grade that you come up with. The only thing you're missing there is the final portfolio project, which is the domain, and that's still something I want you all to work on or think about, because a lot of you still set up your you set up your content that you were working on for this class in a subdomain, and I want to make sure to give you a working or a good like real domain, like the front page of your domain before you leave this class. So that'll be something that we have to work on in a conversation one on one. So, and some of us have some of you have already discussed this with me, and that's fine. That's good. But we can talk again if you'd like, or but everyone else, I would like to have a conversation with you somehow about your plans for your domain and help you make sure that it's doing what it needs to do for you. Um, so yeah, that's it. Okay, is there anything else? I feel like I'm kind of rambling through these things, but hopefully it's good to connect a little bit here. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up, I guess, and then I'll start another stream at 11. If you happen to come in late, you can join in at the beginning there, but I'll cover the same content. I may have a bit more of an updated structural thing on the website by then, so I'll let you know. But that'll be it. So unless I say otherwise, I'll just be streaming again on Friday at 10 and 11. So join me for that. Maybe I'll have my other computer running for that. Okay, so the stream keeps getting stuck. I guess I'll see if it's getting. I don't know if that's the broadcasting or it might be your end. It's hard to tell if it's my end or your end, but in any case, it should be recording it, so that'll be something that I can look at later. So okay, so I'm gonna shut it down for now. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you all on Friday, hopefully, either through Twitch or some other means. But yeah, be well, stay safe. See ya. Let me shut it down.